Jesus knew that he was going to die, and he was in complete control of his death. In John 18, when he is in the garden with his disciples and Judas comes to arrest him with all of the soldiers and the weapons, Jesus says, "Who do you seek?" And I love this scene because as soon as Jesus says, "Who do you seek?" it says they all fall backwards and crash to the ground. This is so that we all know that Jesus is in absolute control. God is sovereign over all of these events. But Jesus' death would come through the hands of men, starting with Judas. And keep in mind that this was not the first time that Jesus was betrayed. The Jews, his own people whom he came to save, did not receive him. They rejected his miracles. Those in his hometown even tried to throw him off a cliff. The religious leaders were constantly plotting against him and trying to arrest him. At one point, they picked up stones to stone him. His family thought that he was crazy and tried to remove him from ministry. John the Baptist lost faith in him and doubted that he was the Messiah. Peter denied him 3 times. Thomas doubted him, and all of the disciples fled from him in his darkest hour. Betrayal has to do with friendship. The closer the friendship, the worse the betrayal. If you don't know someone, they can't really betray you. There needs to be a loyalty and a friendship and a connection to betray someone. That's why what Judas did was so evil. He was a close friend of Jesus. He was with him every day for 3 years. They did everything together. They were part of a team. Now you would think that this would make it really hard for Jesus, but he seems to take it in stride. He continues to love Jesus, even calling him friend when he confronts Jesus in the garden. He even washed Jesus's feet. He even washed Judas's feet. The rejections that he receives from others don't seem to throw him off. Not even when he was being mocked and reviled on the cross. He can handle the rejection and betrayal of man. But when he is rejected by God, that is a different story. That is when he cries out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" As I was thinking about Jesus being betrayed by Judas, by the disciples, by his family, by the Jews, by the religious leaders, I realized that in a sense, he was also betrayed by God. That God turned against his own son. That God went from being a friend to an enemy. When God saw his son covered with all of our sin, that horrific conglomeration of evil and disobedience and idolatry, God then poured out his full wrath on his only son. He not only turned away from him, he punished him to an unimaginable degree. The one who loved Jesus the most turned against him with all the wrath and fury that we deserve. This was, in a sense, the ultimate betrayal. But Jesus knew that this was the cost. It was not a surprise to him. And the Father did not force him into this. Jesus willingly stepped forward and received that evil kiss from Judas. He stepped forward into the betrayal, all so that we could be brought into friendship with the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. I wish this weren't true, but like Judas and others, we betray the Lord too. We betray him when we complain or judge others. We betray him when we get angry or love something more than him. We betray him when we give in to worry or when we fail to tell others about him. We're all betrayers. But remember, Jesus is really good at forgiving betrayers. He is good at loving those who are unfaithful. He loves to pour out grace on sinners who desperately need it. And he has brought us into a friendship with himself that he will never betray. Even when we betray him, he will never betray us. The love and the friendship and the intimacy that he's brought to us will never be undone. He will never stop loving us and caring for us. And that is something we can all rejoice over.